pleasure.
Let us
Okay.
see, we got this. Good, good.
Okay.
Do you want me to say Presidente Vicente Fox?
Whatever you
Am I allowed
wish.
to say that?
Okay.
Of course.
Okay. We'll just do like 10 minutes. 10 minutes? Okay, thank you. I'm honored to be here. We
Good.
got room service.
Okay, or no?
So-
No, luego. Later. Yeah, vamos, let's go.
Okay. Are you rolling?
Yeah, I'm rolling.
Okay, cool. Oh, I'm so honored to be here today with Presidente Vicente Fox. Now, President Fox, I have a couple questions I'd like to ask you. And first of all, I want to thank you so much for taking time to spend with me for this.
Oh, a pleasure, please. Always glad to be here in San Diego, glad to be here with kids, with entrepreneurs, with people that is generating wealth and jobs. So that's great for me.
Awesome. Well, no, you were a businessman before you became president. So what made you decide, I'm going to become the president? Or did you always think when you were a kid, someday I'm going to be the president?
No, never. I never dreamed about. The family was not any close to politics. We were in the private sector all the time,
Okay.
farming in a ranch. And but then I started working for the Coca-Cola company as a route salesman, and then ended up 16 years later as president of the company for Latin America. So that was quite an experience on a large corporation. And then I came back to family business, small businesses, farming, packing food, freezing vegetables, exporting, and the family, we also had a Western cowboy boot factory.
Okay.
So dedicated that for 15 years. And finally I decided to go into politics because I wanted to do something for Mexico.
Okay.
I had in my heart the desire to do things for others, which is my symbol and my commitment that I got from Jesuit school. And that's why I went into politics for 15 years. Started off as taking care of participating as a grassroots on an election. And then I became congressman, federal. Then I ran for governor and became governor of my state, the state of Guanajuato. And then I decided to go for the presidency of Mexico. And I was president of Mexico for year 2000 to 2006.
During that time, because that's like very interesting how you went from, the farming and then to the boots and then to president.
4 quarters in my life, like in football game.
Okay.
1 at home and in the school,
Yeah.
learning, nourishing myself. 2, 1 quarter with a great big Coca-Cola company. Then 3rd quarter with family business. 4th quarter with politics. And then when I came back, my mother asked me, now what, Vicente?
What's your overtime?
What you gonna do now?
Yeah.
And I said, Mom, I'm gonna become a priest.
Okay. Wow.
And Martha, my dear wife, was my side, and she said, no way, you're gonna marry me.
I love that. That's so funny. So she put her foot down.
Yes.
So now you're in overtime, right?
Yes, I'm my 5th quarter.
And what are you doing in your 5th quarter?
We decided to keep on working for others.
Okay.
So we decided to build a presidential library sort of institution to work on leadership with the poor. So we invite every day over 500 kids to come to Central Fox, the presidential library, to learn about leadership with one single message: you were not born to be poor. You were born to do great things in your life, and you were not born to be a migrant. So let's start working, developing your skills, developing your leadership, and you're gonna have a successful and fruitful and happy life.
That's fantastic. Now, throughout all the different quarters you've had in your life, did you have mentorship or did you do this all on your own?
Well, I went to school, university, or where I have a degree on business administration, and the rest has been learning on the job. And
Wow.
yes, that was my great experience with the Coca-Cola company. There's so much that I learned by working for them. But you also nourish yourself at home. My grandfather was from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay.
He came as a migrant down to Mexico back in 1895, and he settled in Mexico. And we've been there for 5 generations. I learned so much from him, especially about hard working. You put bricks every day, and you keep putting bricks, and then you have a wall, but a good wall. Not like the one being planted here in the United States. That's a lousy F wall. That's stupid to build it. But yes, you work hard every day, you progress. But more than anything, you feel comfortable with yourself. You feel fine that you're accomplishing things. And more so when you're thinking about others and doing those things for others.
That's so, I love that. And I was like, I'm not going to go into politics over here. It might be a little hard to avoid that. But now the politics thing, so when you got into politics, was it hard to make that adjustment from entrepreneurship to politics? And because politics, there's so much bull, BS, right? So how hard was that adjustment for you?
It is very hard. It takes a long time. It took me years. I started trying to understand politics and public life when I was a congressman. Then I became governor, and there at least 2 years I had to turn my ship there, turn my chip, and think different because it's a totally different world. There's nothing that is exactly the same on private sector business or on politics. And so you learn the hard way, like the guy here. 2 years now, he doesn't yet understand that in politics you don't work through executive orders like you do in business. Everybody obeys you in business. In politics, everybody does what they wish, even they are in the White House, like today.
Okay.
Everybody thinks by themselves. Everybody think about their own. And so that's why if I would reincarnate next life, I question myself whether I be a politician or whether I go back to being a businessman. And no doubt, my decision is taken. I will stay out of politics, a lot of hypocrisy there, about lies. Everybody lies every day, like the guy here.
Like it's just normal, it's an everyday
Well,
thing.
it's normal for some. We others like to stay with the truth, live with the truth, and work truly in trying to do well your job. But others, like Trump, do exactly the opposite. They lie and lie. They only speak about himself, egocentric, egoist. And I think he should have never moved into politics. That's not his world. Even as a business, he's quite a lousy businessman.
We won't go there.
Don't worry. I could jump the wall backwards if you needed.
You can do a backflip. Well, next thing I wanted to talk about is I help people break through fears that they have, so whether it's fears of money, fears of success, fears of failure. So throughout your journey, have you ever had times where you were fearful? And when you do have fear, how do you work through
I
it?
don't think there's any human being, at least that I have known, that doesn't feel fear quite frequently. It's a nature for human beings to have fear, even starting with the hunter-gatherers of the beginning. They were always with fear, and that's why we lived in caves and they ran away and tried to protect themselves. So it's natural, but understanding that, you try to control your fear and you try to overcome your fear, and especially you try to stay away from difficult situations that might bring fear to you. And this is why at Central Park we teach about leadership 4 stages or 4 levels. One is physical. You have to be strong physically. You have to do a lot of exercise. You have to have a great diet. You have to have protein and nutrition so that you're strong to meet the needs of challenges. Number 2 is what you have here, your brain. And we learned at the beginning we had 1 brain. Then somebody told us 2 brains. One is emotional and the other one is intelligent. And today they speak about 6 or 7 brains. 1 for culture, 1 for music, 1 for fear. So there is fear inside here, but then you use your intelligence, your emotions, and you control that fear. But most important is the 3rd level, is character, is beliefs, is formation, is where you have the capacity to meet challenges, where you have the capacity to navigate on the turbulence, and that's where you show your real leadership. That's where you show how you can control, how you can keep going ahead, and how do you succeed. That's the most important. And finally, the 4th level also helps for fear, because usually we are afraid of what we don't know, or what we don't see, or what it is behind the wall. So today you can see what's behind that wall. There's a lot of techniques to learn which countries are being successful, which countries are endangered, which countries are violent. You can see where war might be coming, where violence is spread out and everywhere. So you can put all these pieces together and you will have the capacity to see through the wall and see what's back there. And then you don't have fear. That's why, for instance, today when we're planning to go to Mars now, in the space, first we get to know, we get information, we see if there is water, we see if, what is there on the unknown. Once you know, then you're ready to go.
That's fantastic. So when did you start with Central Fox? When did you come up with the idea, and then when did you actually implement it, put it into implementation?
The idea came in the last quarter of the administration. Martha and I decided that we wanted to dedicate our lives for doing things for others. So we started visiting libraries here in the States, residential libraries. She visited all of them twice, Martha. I did visit each one of them once at least. And from there we had the first ideas of what we were going to do. Immediately we decided that we would not go for the museum type part of the library.
Okay.
You have Rosalind Carter's dresses, and you have President Reagan boots and hat. No museum, not showing the belongings of the president or the first lady, but to put an institution that would be highly educative, highly informative, and that will be highly dedicated to promoting leadership. Because leaders with a name and a face who changed the world. They are building the world we will see in the next 10 years. It's not a matter of institutions, it's a matter of leaders, like Steve Jobs, like Bill Gates, like Obama, like anybody. They're building the world. And we are all leaders, each one of us. Don't think about a leader that is too far away. We are leaders, each one of us. We just have to go within, discover who we are, what are we in this life for, and mostly, what is my purpose? What do I want to do with my life? What do I want to accomplish? What makes me happy? What makes the other happy? And how can I commit with that? So once you know and you learn about your leadership, there is no roof. You can fly as high as you want and as far as you want. And that's the power within that we all have, the power of leadership. So yes, dream. Just be convinced that you can make it, and you will get there.
Well, you convinced me. But when did you discover your purpose? Like, how old were you? Do you remember that?
It's not one single purpose.
Okay.
It's, let's say that it's a movable purpose. but it always has to be heroic, high, big, so that you can start growing yourself, so that you can start getting up and following that purpose. That purpose has to be linked with others. It has to be generous. It has to be good for humankind, because there's very strong leadership for evil, like
true.
Hitler, like Napoleon, like Peter the Great. So what we need is compassionate leadership. We need leaders that understand that the shortcut to happiness is doing for others. When you give, you get more in return. And
Yes.
that's the best conviction and commitment that you can have in life. That will make you happy, no doubt.
Oh, thank you so much. That's great, because I like the we all are leaders, because I never saw myself as a leader until recently. And so I'm just like giving everybody that permission to say, you know what, I am a leader, and then learning how to step into it, right, and become that actual leader.
Yes, because you usually just renounce to leadership. You say, President Obama was born to be a leader, or Napoleon, or whoever was born to be a leader. I am not a leader. So we renounce to our own leadership.
Yeah.
We abandon the search for our meaning and for our own leadership. But once we discover that, there is no limit. So that's the question that you have to do yourself every day. And that's why Deepak Chopra recommends, gift yourself with 5 minutes every day. Go within yourself. Ask those key questions. And when you come out that day to work, to whatever is your activity in life, you will make it much better than anybody else.
Wow. Well, I know our time is up, and I want to respect your time. I know you have plans, so I want to thank you
And
again.
I have to go to a conference right now.
Yeah, oh, yes, okay. It's got to go to a conference. So I want to thank you again for your time. This is wonderful. I can't wait to dive into that. I'm going to transcribe that and catch all those nuggets that you just threw at me.
Please enjoy, and please thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Well, if we stand up, can you see us?
¿Sí
No,
grabaste?
no, it's fine.
¿Sí grabaste o no grabaste?